For those of you who might be new to the broadcast, just understand we do it in two parts. The first part is normally just a catch up on news about some of our viewers and some facts that they may want to share with people. And then we will go into the actual soul work later. If you look at the link below and you don't want to listen to the updates from people, then just see where it'll say from 00 to so and so. That'll be the news and views and updates. And then from another figure, it'll say this is where the actual soul work starts. So just be aware that that's below here if you want it. All right, so let me just get that. Thank you, Jody. I appreciate that. And I'm going to just put up the links for everybody. That's very kind of Jody to give it to me so I can do that. You understand it doesn't show that for me, so let me just put it on here. Right, great. Actually, I've got to show you one more thing, Jody. Remind me to show you something for next week. And that'll be awesome. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. And now then, let me just get my broadcast screen out. Things I can't do before I start broadcasting. And that one out. And then we will get rid of this. All right, so here we go. Nearly. All right, let me just get this. So thanks, Jody. I really appreciate that. And Jody, just I'm going to be asking for an update on your health any minute now. So you might want to just think about what you're going to type on that one or start typing it. Okay, so before we start, I'm certain that we will go back to talking about the boys in the caves in Thailand, but wonderful that they got 4 people out. We don't know what the condition of those 4 people are yet. Hi, Paul. Good to see you. We don't know what the condition is of those 4 that they've got out. We know one must have been pretty critical that they flew them out by air ambulance. But the good news is that 4 are out of the caves. And what I found really interesting, and I didn't expect it, is they brought the one that was the weakest out on that first batch. I actually must admit that I thought they'd bring the 4 strongest ones out first. So that goes to show that I'm really glad that they did that, because even though the risk was that they might lose him on the trip, they brought him out anyway. So I don't know about the rest of you, but our continued thoughts and prayers, not only for the boys and for the coach. I made a call that I think the coach will be the last one out. I think he will do. Yeah, hi, Paul. I did say hi to you. I do believe that he will insist on being the last person out of the caves. That would be my sense. So our prayers go out for the boys, obviously, that they all get out, and for the coach, because he is going to have a very traumatic recovery time, I think. And I'm very pleased that the parents are not blaming him for what happened, because he's got enough on his mind that will cause PTSD for the rest of his life, I'm sure. As will the boys. Some of the boys will. I was listening to something that Sanjay Gupta said on CNN today, and he was saying, they will have programmed all these boys to see this as a great adventure. You know how you trekked in and got trapped? Now we're going to really have fun with you now. We're going to do 2 things. We're going to teach you how to scuba dive. How many of you always wanted to do that? Yep. And we're going to bring in the top scuba divers from around the world to swim with you. And, they'll actually make this like a huge, and they'll probably give them special scuba diving awards afterwards and all sorts of things. I think what they will do is play this up in a huge way, that this is part of the big adventure. Rather than go, well, we're not sure whether you're going to make it out or not, obviously. So that's one. Very good news from Lauren. But before we get to the good news from Lauren, just to understand that Lauren's sister is still in hospital, as far as I know. Am I correct in that, Jody? And she's been having some issues, but I believe that it was under control, and then it sort of went south a bit more. For those of you who know Becca, she could do with some support at the moment. So those of you who've got time and can do that, I'd appreciate it. For those of you who know Pat in Newfoundland and her husband Bill, Bill's brother was just diagnosed with a rare aggressive bone cancer. And he's already on dialysis, so that makes it even more difficult. So any thoughts and prayers that you can send their way would also be greatly appreciated by everybody. So, Paul, as we haven't seen you for a while, any updates that we should know about? How are you doing, honey? I'm sure people will want to know about how you are, and I'll make sure that I mention it on the next broadcast in case people miss this. Okay. Which one, Paul? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. I just I'm a way out of date on your girlfriend, so I just want to make sure I don't say the wrong one. Okay, Paul. Oh, really? And are you living together? I think the last time I heard from you, you were planning to spend some time together. Well, anyway, whatever it is that you're doing, I hope you're happy, and that because really, life is so short, and my one wish for you is that you be happy. Well, that's awesome, Paul. I hope, and if you want to tell us about your health, tell us, and if you don't want to tell us, I understand. Um, so, but really great that you popped in. I really appreciate that. Hi, Linda. How are you doing, honey? You're good. Okay, great, Paul. That's always great to hear. All right, so congratulations. We just heard, less than an hour ago, I think, that Lauren is actually going home from hospital today. Isn't that wonderful? She's been there for months. Not as long as Erin has, but she has been there, last month oh gosh, I don't know, almost 3 months. Yeah, or longer. I can't remember. I lose track of time, but it's been a long time. But I know Erin's been there since January, so that's even longer for her. So, but the good news is that you can imagine how exciting this is, and it means she'll be able to join the broadcast again because she won't be on, limited data time or anything, I would presume. So that would be very, very awesome stuff. Jody, just before we move on, yeah, she has been through a lot. She deserves a break. Every time she turns around, another family member gets sick, or she gets more sick, or something happens. So that's it. Jody, how are you doing, honey? Can you give people an update just so that they know how things are going with you? Because I know that did you have your MRI? Well, I think that was postponed, if I got it right. Okay, so while Jody is typing that reply, let me move on to the I need some help segment. Does anybody need any help this week? Would like some support or would appreciate, people checking in with them? Need somebody with a 2x4 to keep them on track. For those of you who don't know what a 2x4 is, that's somebody who's actually going to hold you accountable or tell you the truth if you're being, trying to avoid something. So I want to tell you, I could definitely do with somebody with a 2x4 this week. I said last week that I would get some boxes downstairs. and also put some other stuff into the garage, and I haven't done either of those things. And I'm sure that everybody's going to tell me, well, I was really busy and I did this, that, and the other, but that's what I wanted to do and I didn't do it, which means I didn't make time to do it. So I definitely need somebody with a 2x4 this week, please. Linda, how did it go with the Tupperware cupboard? Is that all done now? I know you were working on that last time. Right. So for those of you watching this, listening to it on the replay, Jody just came back to us and said, I'm having my regular struggles with the lymphoderma. No MRI yet because I need blood work before, and that hasn't been scheduled yet. Plus the doctor is the one that's leaving. Yeah, really, you could do with a break as well. Oh, all right. So Linda's telling me that she, in support of me, also didn't do her task. Thank you, Linda. Well, she didn't say that. I added that in support of me, and she actually just said, totally honest, nope, I didn't do it. All right, so I'm not the only one. That feels better. So, Linda, let's do it this week. What do you think? How much time do you think it would take? I was surprised how long it took to do mine. When I say how long, because I didn't know quite how much was in there. Well, you know something, Jody, if you're going to get better in life, you know what I mean? If you're going to get mentally better, then, it's really good to tell the truth. In life generally, it's a really good thing to tell the truth. And, if we can't tell the truth to each other here, then why are we here? Isn't that why we're here? Oh, you reckon it'll take 15 minutes? And you're using the UK heat wave as an excuse, okay? I'm going to use that I did 2 trips down to the States as an excuse, but does anybody care? Not really. So I'm not going to do that. So, all right. Okay, Linda. How about, let's see which one can... Yours only takes 15 minutes. Actually, you know something? I guess it wouldn't take me much more than 15 minutes to do what I need to do. All right, Linda. Let's see how we do next week. By the way, I found out some really interesting things. Some of you may or may not know that I bought myself a new I'm a Slob watch. And this time I bought myself a Fitbit because I know I can easily get new straps for it. And I go through the straps pretty quickly. The straps wear out before the watch does. But I am amazed how much information this gives me. I've got to be quite honest about that. I was shocked to see that it even analyzes all my sleep patterns, REM sleep, deep sleep, whatever. I expected it to tell me how long I slept. I didn't expect it to be able to give me percentages on each of them. So that is pretty impressive. Definitely not what I expected. And so I'm busy at the moment. I'm busy at the moment trying to build up the number of steps I do a day again. The other thing is, do any of you have a fitness watch, just as a matter of interest? Because I have a very interesting thing that I found out by using mine. All right. I've always talked to you about doing these hand roll things. If you want to get some exercise in, but you don't feel like going walking, try doing this. One of the things that I found is I could bring my heart rate up from 60 beats a minute to 120 beats a minute within a couple of minutes of doing hand rolls and doing 50 like this, and then 25 like this, and 25 like this, and then some more of these, and then, just playing with them, however I want you to do it. Once I'd done the 50, that builds up. Now, I actually can show you. All right, I've already brought my heart rate up from probably 60 to 75. Let me do some more. just so that I can show you what it does, because it really is an interesting thing for those of you who maybe cannot do very much walking. But I really do want you to know that this definitely does bring up the heart rate. My heart rate's up to 84. Oops. Do you get what I'm saying? And if I keep doing it, it will just keep bringing my heart rate up. And if you can do not only that, but it sort of counts it as steps. Just wait a minute. I just need my watch to. Okay, I've messed with my watch now. Hang on a second. Let me see what I'm up to. Oh, I was up to over 90 then. But do you understand? I was able to just bring it right the way up to 120, which is in the maximum that I want to go. And then if I do then go and get the laundry or go and clean up the kitchen, once I'm in 120, do you understand what it's doing to my heart rate? You know, it's really helping my heart pump a lot of blood. So I thought I'd just mention that to you. I definitely think there's part of me that goes, I think I'm going to do a video about how to exercise without really trying. The other thing is that some of you will know that drinking water is really important part of it. And I am not doing enough of that. I'm managing about 32, 40 ounces a day. And I probably need to be putting in twice that. So I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm really having a problem with that one. Does anybody else have anything else that they need any help with? Just so that I can make a note of it so we can support you. While you're typing that, let me just say, if you are ghosting and watching this program either as we're doing it live or watching the replay, and we've never seen you before, or even haven't seen you for a while, welcome and welcome back. For those of you who are here, hi, Erin. Erin, if you get a chance, can you give us an update? And I'll read it as soon as it comes up. If I'd like to welcome anybody who is ghosting, and really, we love it that you ghost. We have a lot of people who ghost for a long time and only come in, you know, sometimes months. One person told me they ghosted for over a year. So it's really great. The main thing is, if there's anything that we can help you with, if you've got a situation, that you'd like some help with, if you've got and something is happening in your life that you'd like some input on, feel free to write to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com. I assure you, I do look at all my emails. Sometimes it takes me a while to get through them, but I will reply. And that is something you do need to know. And I will not mention your name on here unless you tell me to. So if you hear me talk about things that people have said, I know there's certain people here that don't mind me just talking about whatever they type. If I'm not sure whether they want me to repeat it, you will hear me say, is it okay if I talk about that? Because I want to make sure that you all feel safe on that one. When the broadcast is finished, I will disconnect this scroll, the live chat scroll, so that people watching the replay won't see what people are saying or their names attached to it, just so that you all feel quite confident in that. All right, so here's Erin's update. I won't really have anything to update for about 2 more weeks. I don't see any of the doctors or even get tested for about that long. Well, one step at a time here, Erin. Erin, you probably didn't hear it. Lauren is actually going home today, we are so excited about that. By the way, if you're watching the broadcast and would like to stay in touch with us, a couple of things I'd like to recommend. If you're watching this on YouTube on the replay, please press the bell. And that means that every time I am about to go live, it will advise you and give you the link. For those of you who would like to know ahead of time, please make sure you follow me as DearMamaSal, quite easy, on Facebook and on Twitter, because that's where I put up the advance warning that we are about to go live. Okay, so we're going to do a time check here. Jody, we're talking 20 minutes, I think, just about on the dot by the time I've got everything ready. And I put the glasses on because how we do this segment, this is our soul work. And what I'm going to do is I am going to read a quote. And they're different quotes from all sorts of different things. And then we will discuss what that brings up for us. But before we do that, let's take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And just slow everything down. Okay. And this first quote actually comes from the Bible. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. And how many of you have had experience of that in your life, that actually you asked for something and it came about? I have to say that I kept saying that I was looking for somewhere. I wanted to find somewhere near where I live that I could go to where I wouldn't be at risk of them selling the land from underneath me. How many of you heard me say that time and time again? And I've actually found a piece of land that allows big fifth wheels on it, that is a community already, that the land cannot be sold. The land cannot be developed. It's amazing. Yes, I think it's called the law of attraction. Linda's saying, I'm a big believer in imagining what I want in life. Hi, Charlotte. You, Charlotte, I wanted to ask you. I know you do your 5Ks, and you don't do another one until the weather cools down a bit. But I just wondered, do you stay in training during the summer, or do you just rest and keep out of the sun until the fall? Just an interesting. For those of you who are watching on the replay, our Charlotte is busy making strawberry jam with her mum. All right. So anybody else where you, I can, on a more humorous note, I can remember once saying, I need a, what did I say? I'm trying to remember what I said once, but it was something about, that's interesting. Hi, Amy. Amy's saying, Kim has taught me how to manifest what I want. Yes. Yes, it definitely is the law of attraction. And so that means that if you concentrate on what you want in your life, basically you will attract it to you. If you spend your life being miserable, you understand you will attract misery. All right. Because two things will happen. First of all, if you spend your life always being complaining and beating up on things, then what will happen is a lot of people will not want to associate with you, because it's, every time they speak to you, you're bringing the mood down. And people have got a lot on their plates, these, and it's not that they don't want to support you. It's just like, really, if every time they speak to you, you've got nothing good to say, it means you're not really working on yourself. Does that make sense to anybody? We all have things going wrong in our lives, but so when you work with other people, one of the things I always say, people trying to help other people, don't just listen. Be an active listener. So if they say, oh, it's not fair, nothing's going right, ask questions like, and what are you doing about that? Do you understand what I mean about being an active listener? Yeah, I hear you. That sucks. Have you seen the doctor? That's active listening. That means you're hearing what they're saying, but you're also making sure that you turn it around. Because if people aren't prepared to do anything for themselves, all right, then you're not going to be able to help them. Yeah, it's Charlotte, it takes a bit of practice. And if ever I can help you with that, feel free to let me know. I really do. When if I just have found that it's really important that people do not use you as a, you know, somewhere where they can just regurgitate all their negativity, because you have to be pretty strong not to take it on. All right, here's another quote for you all. At any moment, I could start being a better person. But which moment should I choose? How many of you can relate to that? At any moment, I could start being a better person. But which moment shall I choose? How many of you chuckled at that one? Yeah, you choose now. Yeah, I must admit, Charlotte, I chose to do more steps, burn up more calories than I was taking in, and I put on a pound. And I burst out laughing and went, yeah, only Sal could do that. So good. Let's be a better person. In what way would you like to be a better person, people? I am definitely, I'm definitely increasing the number of steps I do a day. I've become very bad about not keeping up my step rate. And it's amazing how much you can do just going up and down the stairs a couple of times a day. That's also a good one for those of you who are able to do that. But really, it's like, do the most you can, even if you're bedridden. Do whatever exercises you can, just so that you can keep the strength in your muscles, what muscles you may have left, and build on them if it's possible. And I know for some of you that's painful, but do what's possible. And be proud of yourself, even if you can do 20 of these today, and then do 21 tomorrow. You understand, that's an improvement. Better nutrition for a start. I think a lot of us would relate to that. All right, I think a lot of us would relate to better nutrition, but as I found out, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It's just like, keep it in balance, right? I still have potato chips, Paul. You taught me that one, that I could still have my potato chips, and so I do. And by the way, you know what I've been really good at? When I go out to eat now, I don't take regular fries, I take yam fries. They're not a lot less calories, but they are less calories than regular fries. So, and yam fries with mayo, very tasty. All right, let's try the next one. This is the Bhagwan Sri Rajanish. I love some of his quotes. I probably haven't read it yet, but one of his, I think, is, plan for a miracle. I always love that quote. Plan for a miracle. Don't plan for disaster. Plan for a miracle. Okay. So Paul's saying no more chips for him. How long have you been on fruit and vegetables, Paul? That's excellent. Well done. So anyway, here's the Bhagwan's quote. One has to just be oneself. That's my basic message. The moment you accept yourself as you are, all burdens, all mountainous burdens simply disappear. Then life is just sheer joy, a festival of lights. How many of you have given up trying to be the perfect person and just accepted the fact that you are who you are? Yes, Amy. Amy's saying she wants to know if we have a more Walmart. I have got a superstore Walmart within a couple of blocks of me, Amy. Very dangerous. But anyway, she's saying she's become addicted to Harvest Snaps. Yes, and they're only about 130 calories. I hear that. Hi there, Pat. And for those of you who might have missed the beginning, and know Pat and Bill's brother just was recently diagnosed with quite a serious bone cancer, and because he's on dialysis, it makes it even more aggressive. Just so our thoughts and prayers go out to you, Pat, and the family. Is there I know that there probably isn't anything we can do except tell you we care. And thank you for letting us be part of that. It's in his spine. Ow. Yeah, I must admit I've stayed away from those pea snaps because I think somewhere I read they had some garlic in them. So it started in his kidney and moved to his spine. That is really sad. Any symptoms that we should be aware of? And I say that because, Pat, sometimes, we're all got symptoms going on and we just go, oh, it'll get better. And maybe, it's a case of what should we know about it? That, maybe we could find out what did he ignore that he wishes now that he hadn't. I don't mean that to be negative, but I'm sure that he had no symptoms. Yeah. Do you know, it's strange because I know that happened to my stepfather. He had no symptoms at all. And on the Sunday, he got sick and was rushed to hospital. And you know, uh, literally before I could get there, he was gone. Yes, Amy, I had a feeling it had garlic in it. Yeah. He had some kidneys testing done. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? How they find those sort of things. Of course, there's the other side. Would he rather have not known? That's the other thing that I wonder sometimes. And whatever he decides, Pat, it's his life, right? It's his life. And yeah, I think I always say to people who've got family members that are fighting this sort of stuff, he has the right to decide whether he wants to be pricked, prodded, and manipulated. You know what I mean? That is not for anybody else to decide. Because in our wish to keep them hanging on, sometimes I think families demand too much of the patient. And, it's his choice and it's his body and his right. And that's just my view. How did the rest of you feel about that? I'm amazed how many people I say, oh, but he needs to fight it. He needs to do this, he needs to do that. And I go, well, wait a minute. Isn't it his right? His body? He's not a child, he's an adult. He's been really ill since he was 40. Yeah. So he's been fighting this for 21 years. Yikes. I am so sorry to hear that. Well, you tell Bill that our thoughts and prayers are with him, and that with you too as well. Really important. And I'm hoping for the best outcome for your brother-in-law. You understand? I hope that whatever it is that he chooses is the best outcome for him. Okay, now this is quite a long quote, just so that you know, and it's by somebody called Patanjali. I haven't. Sounds like two people, doesn't it? But it isn't. It's just one name, all connected. Patanjali. So here we go. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitation, your consciousness expands in every direction, and you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than that you ever dreamed yourself to be. Can any of you think of a time where that was true for you? When have you taken on a project? Yes, your half marathon. All right, when you moved into going, okay, I'm going to do a half marathon. Because I remember that you said you were going to do it like quite a while ahead of time. Okay, Paul, blessings back to you, honey. Thanks for popping in. So when anybody else? I know that um I find that when people hi Jonas, when people come to me sometimes with certain problems, I'm amazed at some of the things that come into my mind because I'm going, gosh, I don't know why I said that, but you know, apparently that's what they need to hear. Yes, that's what I seem to remember, Charlotte. So I'm glad I'm not imagining that you signed up for it back in April, yes, and then you did it in the October. So I mean, that was really, and then from that point onwards, you were on a mission, right? To train for it and to compete. I think that, Charlotte, all the running that you have done has been so interesting to watch. And I watch the change in your face and how happy you look. Yeah, Charlotte is saying that in becoming, and for those of you listening on the replay, that in in preparing for this half marathon, all the barriers kept coming up, bumps and bruises, and all the mental stuff kept going on. Yeah, and the same sort of stuff that's hitting me in downsizing, I think, Charlotte, right? Um, you know what I mean? I'm finding the same sort of things. Amazing how many blocks there are along the way. Oh, Erin, that's what, yes, I didn't say anything about that, Erin, because you asked me not to. But Erin's saying that she may or may not be moving to another state. So when will you know, Erin? So the fact that you might be moving, has that sent all your adrenaline and everything else going in a different direction? Charlotte, and I just to go back to your thing about the half marathon, am I right that the journey was actually far more interesting than the actual half marathon itself? You know, all that you overcame, all that you did to actually really start the race, that the fact, you know, whatever the result was, you knew you were going to do your best half marathon ever. I always think I always think that's the good thing about doing your first half marathon. You know it's going to be the best one you've ever done. Therefore, there is no fail. Okay, Erin, and are we allowed to know where it might be that, you know, which state you might be moving to? And my question would be, what brought that about? You see, you know, isn't it funny how everything sort of comes for a reason? Yeah, and Charlotte's giving a wonderful piece of advice for anybody trying to achieve anything, and that was, she says, no, for her, no true training methods here, just accept one foot in front of the other and more time on my feet. All right. So what she's saying is like any goal, the only way you get there is just keep moving forward. So Linda and I will be moving forward on our tasks this week. And, you know, taking one step forward, Linda, you're Tupperware and I am getting stuff downstairs. So I got room to start making more mess. Yes, and keep on moving is the thing I'm telling myself as well. Charlotte, I found out something quite interesting. My Fitbit was telling me that to try and work for, you know, to decide how many hours a day you want to be active for. You know, when I say active, but you know, you're not asleep or resting. And I reckoned about 12, and it said to try and aim for 250 steps for those hours. per hour. So that was quite interesting to me. And obviously, if you want to shorten the time, then you need to increase the number of steps. That is so exciting. Erin, may I repeat that for the replay? That is such an exciting idea. Wow. You see, I really am. Okay, so here's what Erin told us. She said, for those of you on the replay, she's saying, someone I know wants to open their own house like the one I live in. And I have the opportunity to go and be part of the company. So here is the thing that, Erin, that's the one you used to live in or the one you're presently in? Just so I can understand that. Yes, that's what I thought. And you just didn't word it that way, and that's why I wanted to double check it. Yes, she used to live in this group situation where there were similar people, and people, were looking after them, and it was a huge made a huge difference in your life. I really did notice that. So we will wish for the best for you, whichever way is best for you, Erin, because we don't know. But we will, pray for the right outcome. And thank you for updating us. Um, is it okay for me to now put that into the general notes for other people to hear? I mean, now that we've got it on a live broadcast. Because I am certain there are other people. And also, Erin, when you get a chance, let us know uh, when you know it's a go. All right, so we can support you in that in some way. Wow, what a huge thing that would be. And if it doesn't happen, then we know it's for a good reason as well, Aaron. I know that you understand that one. All right, so here is a quote from something called The Eye of the Beholder by John and Lynn Sinclair Thomas. For those who believe, no proof is necessary. For those who don't believe, no proof is possible. I love that. How many of you have found that out where, if you trying to change somebody's mind is a pretty much a waste of energy in a lot of cases. And yeah, I think so. I'm going to read it again. For those who believe, no proof is necessary. For those who don't believe, no proof is possible. I can think of so many times when I had a really, what I thought was a brilliant idea. And it was so funny because I couldn't convince other people. They all thought it was a bad one. And I go, okay, fine. um, but I listened and I analyzed. And what I did was I just went, okay, I guess what I need to do is to prove it so. Instead of trying to argue with people, let me just prove that it is possible to do and went ahead and did it. So, it's so true, isn't it? There are times in life where you just know that as long as you believe, that is half the battle. If somebody else believes, Erin, did you see the video I put up on the Facebook page of the lady, presumably with, I would think cerebral palsy. I could be wrong. I'm not quite sure what her issue was, but that was an opera singer. And I just kept, I did, when I saw this, I went, yeah, this reminds me of Erin. you know, she might have had all these things going against her, but boy, did she have talent. And so to me, it's like we need to remember. Yeah, Charlotte. I mean, I don't know about you, but I cried. And the thing I found so interesting was the lady standing behind her, holding her up. Yeah, really, I put it up there in the hope that you would see it. Okay, Pat, are you camping, Pat? Probably not this weekend. Yes, and it goes to show, that please don't judge a book by its cover. And Pat, our thoughts and prayers go with you and the family. Please give Bill a big hug from us. All right, now this is one that I thought some of you would really appreciate. So, um, take the good until you find something better. And in search for something better, do not let the good slip away from you or die out. If you disregard it despite its worth and pursue something better, what you had escapes you. But if you remain attached to what is good, you will always have it if nothing better follows. I'm going to read that again. Take the good until you find something better. And in search for something better, do not let the good slip away from you or die out. If you disregard it despite its worth and pursue something better, what you had escapes you. But if you remain attached to what is good, you will always have it if nothing better follows. Yeah. How many of you are going, that makes sense? So I can think of various situations in my life where I let go of a lot of things to go chase after something better and ended up that the something better wasn't that much better and I had lost what I thought I had before. So thank you, Jody. That's very kind of you. Jody just sent the video I was talking about to Erin. That'll save her a lot of hunting it down. Yes, but I think what it's also saying, Charlotte, is, even if the people around you are not the best that you ever dreamed of, they are better than not having them there at all. You know what I mean? Or maybe, you don't have the best washing machine in the world, but it works. Don't be too quick to throw it out because the next one might not be better. And it's all those sort of things where I think sometimes be grateful for what you've got and make sure the people in your life know you're grateful that you have them there. Would that make sense? The grass is not always greener on the other side. And Samuel Smiles said, "We learn wisdom from failure, much more than from success. We often discover what will do by finding out what will not do. And probably he who never made a mistake never made a discovery." How many of you, are prepared to make the mistakes to get to the end result that you want? I'm always amazed that so many people. Hi, Beth. Glad you're here, honey. Okay, Beth. So just take a deep breath. And did you hear the quote? If not, I'll reread it for you. So, on our way to success, we need to make a few mistakes along the way. Okay, Beth, take a deep breath. Here we go. We learn wisdom from failure, much more than from success. We often discover what will do by finding out what will not do. And probably he who never made a mistake never made a discovery. That was the reason, Beth, when I heard that one of your family members, who shall remain nameless, one of your family members was so critical of the job you were about to take. You see, my thought was, you're going to learn something there. Because we always do. So the only time that a job, is a useless job is if we don't learn anything. And so, to me, in taking the risk of going and doing something, you will learn something along the way. I am a great believer that everything will teach us the next step if we just bother to do it. So if we can see that there are no mistakes, and that's the interesting thing. If you can see life not as a pass and fail, if you can see life as okay, well, this is a new lesson I need to learn, obviously, so let me see what it teaches me. um, then everything becomes an experience rather than pass and fail. Beth, I wanted to ask you if you have done any meditation work. Mm. Okay, Beth, what I hear from you a lot, and forgive me if my judgment of this is incorrect, but what I hear from you a lot is that you are go, 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 go. Not only doing, you're doing the work of about 3 people in half the time. And I really have some concerns because I've been there. And that's my concern, not yours. It's my concern. But I was wondering whether you would consider just putting on your earphones and maybe playing a guided meditation off YouTube. Do you know what a guided meditation is? Um, that there are quite a few of them on YouTube. And just to teach yourself to slow down. And some of them are an hour long, and some of them are 20 minutes, and some of them are even less than that. Yes, and there's a reason why, Beth. Okay, Erin, thank you so much, honey. Thank you for popping in. And all the best with we'll keep our fingers crossed for you. Yes, and I can, something, I can almost hear you screaming, stop. And here is what I can tell you from my experience, Beth. If you don't listen to that voice, then something will happen to make you stop. Do you get my drift? So do you have any way of checking your heart rate? I don't want to bring that about, Beth, so don't hear it that way. Yeah, that's what I'm scared of. That you're pushing your body too much. You're doing stuff that your husband should be doing. You're doing stuff your daughter should be doing. You're just doing, and you're doing 2 different jobs. I was like, really? All right, now you don't have to, Beth, but here's what I'm thinking. I think you'd probably be quite shocked to find out what your heart rate is. And the reason I say that is I can remember when I first got an I'm a slob watch, I was quite surprised where my heart rate was. And I've managed to get my beats per minute resting down to below 60 sometimes. And the other thing is, yeah, maybe you can pick one up secondhand somewhere. Maybe you can find one that somebody's selling secondhand on eBay or something. Because I think a lot of people buy these fitness watches, but then don't really want them because they don't want to do the work. But what you're looking for is one that will read your blood pressure. Now, there are some apps. Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay. Okay. So shush. All right. So that's not good. But the fact you actually stopped long enough to take it surprises me. So well done on that one. Um, yeah, if it's 160 and you're on blood pressure meds, then you either need to slow your life down or you need to tell the doctor that it's back up that high. You may need to take it every day. And by the way, Beth, I was on heart meds. Did you know that? And I changed my life so much in so many ways, Beth, that my doctor took my blood pressure one day and said, "Huh?" And he said, "How have you been feeling?" And I said, "Pretty dizzy." And you know what had happened? I had changed my lifestyle so much and stopped do all the time, and actually, started to be creative again and started to do things to slow my body down. That my blood pressure had dropped so much, I was now, risk of falling off the other end. And that's why I was getting dizzy and things like that were happening to me. So I want to tell you that even if they end up upping your meds, if you start controlling your life better, really, Beth, that so surprises me. So you do know the answer then, right? And that's why I think some guided meditation can help you. Do you know that my watch that has a 2-minute relaxation thing on it? Yeah, you got the 2x4. I didn't need to give it to you, did I? um, right. You see, you're growing up, and I say you're growing up, but you're beginning to see the patterns, right? The patterns of originally not eating properly and now not looking after yourself properly. You're so busy looking after everybody else. Um, I just don't understand why you're cleaning your car and your husband's. Why don't you get your husband to take both cars and get them detailed? You know, while you meditate, maybe. Yeah, one week he takes his, and next week he takes yours. It's just like what I'm thinking here. And if he doesn't want to do that, then he cleans them. Oh gosh, Beth, that is really. How many times have I heard that one? I thought if I did it, he'd stop me and no. This is called. Uh, I wonder if I could ask you to. Wonder if I could just ask you if you could clean my car this week. And don't tell him when, because it's a man. You don't tell a man when to do something. Just say, "Can I get your commitment that you'll clean my car for me this week?" Because, or that you will, do the wash, or that you will strip the bed, or you just need to tell him what to do. He's a man. Men actually appreciate it when they get given a task. You think in the past 5 years you've been doing it, or do you know in the past? Because you thought he would love you more if you did. Superwoman. But Beth, you do understand that this is not my business in lots of ways. It's yours. But I am not your friend at any level if I don't tell you what I am. The same as when you first joined the broadcast. I asked you, whether you were trying to commit suicide by not eating. Now I've got to ask you, are you aware what you're doing? And if you are aware and you just want to continue, that's your right. But I've got a feeling that you know this isn't right. And if so, we are here to help you do that. No, it's okay. I understand that. So take a breath. I just want you to know that tell me one thing that you could change when it allows you to type next time. Tell me one thing that you're going to change this week where you are not going to do it and you're going to delegate it. And the other thing is, if being at home makes you always want to do things because you can see the next thing that needs to be cleaned or the next thing that needs to be whatever, two things I'd like to recommend to you, Beth. Oh, no. You see, that's your problem, Beth. That's your perfectionism. You don't want it done to your standard. You just want it done, Beth. You really want to think differently. This is not, I want it done to perfection. Did you see the link I put up today about perfection? It's on the Facebook page, Beth. I put it up today. Okay, honey. Now, you do know I'm saying this from a place of love, right? I thought you would. I love that guy's philosophy on life anyway. But when I listened to that, I went, Beth needs to hear this one. you know. um, so Beth, we love you dearly and we'd like to keep you around for a while. Now, this is a learning experiment, all right? We don't expect you to change this week. What we'd like you to do is think about it this week. The one thing, though, I would recommend is, are you able to read? I know you are, Amy. But that's what we do here. We teach others through whoever we're working on today. And you've done very well so far, Amy. We're very proud of you. And you see, the fact you can own it is half of it. You love to read, but you don't seem to have the time. Okay, here you go, Beth. Beth, this is the trick. The trick is that if you read, it slows your mind down. Does that make sense to you? Can you see that? It forces you to slow down because you've got to read the words. And what I challenge you to do is, even if you have a book in your washroom, all right, take the time to read 2 pages every time you go to the washroom. You'll be amazed what it does for you. Or say to yourself, I am going to read 2 pages 3 times a day. There you go. Now, the other thing, Beth? What I was going to say to you is, if you have a problem because when you're in your house, you keep seeing something else that needs to be done. I forgot to do that. Oh, I forgot to do that. Get in your car, go drive to the local park, or, somewhere where it's quiet in nature, and just bring out your book and read 2 pages and then drive home again. I have a feeling that driving probably is a good thing for you to do if you don't do it too fast. By the way, you do know you are the way you drive your car. So do you get frustrated in your car? Amy, what about you? Yes, Beth. And then let us know how it worked for you. By the way, if you managed 3 or 4 pages, let us know that as well. All right. So anybody that's listening to this on the replay, or anybody that is and knows that they are always go, 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 um, try that. Get a book, and it doesn't have to be a brilliant book. Okay. So you're wheelchair bound. Yeah, you see, Beth, all these are signs that your life is really going on overdrive. All right, and when people are not going the speed limit, I want you to have a different thought. I want you to say, "Gosh, how nice that they are so relaxed; they don't even need to go the speed limit." And then, how about if they're waiting too long at the green light, you go, "Wow, wouldn't that be lovely if I didn't have to worry about going so fast all the time? And like them, I could take that extra couple of seconds at a green light." I can't really see your picture, but if you sent it to me at dearmamasal@gmail.com, I sort of, it's tiny for me. So here is the thing. Yeah. Yes, Beth, you understand the fact that you're a white knuckle driver. That's what I call a white knuckle driver, right? You always, you know, just your whole vibration. That's what I want you to work on. Is lowering that vibration. And the way you do that is to slow your thought process down. And I was thinking, what could I give Beth that would help? And I was thinking, boy, if she could learn to read again, if she could learn to read again, she would slow down, even a couple of times a day. Um, my watch. I wonder if I can get to it. Hold on a second, Run. All right, Beth, you want to do an exercise with me? All right. So be still. This is on my watch, so that this is just practice for you. Okay, and we're going to breathe in and out. Amy and Beth, just slow down a bit, and then just get still. Just get still. Don't think too much. And now we're going to breathe in and out. Are you ready? And we're going to do it for 2 minutes. So see how you do. Here we go. Breathe in and breathe out. 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 Okay, was that the longest 2 minutes? That is just 2 minutes of relaxation, Beth. And that's why you'll often hear me say, if you're overly anxious, if you're too hyper, practice breathing in for 5 and then count 5 breathing out. All right, Beth. So I hear you say, I think I might go to the library on Wednesday and just chill with a cup of coffee looking at books. The word is might. I might go. If you have time, you mean? If you aren't busy doing things for everybody else, you mean? Thanks, Amy. So, Amy, all right. So, when I said, go somewhere quiet and relax, you immediately, your mind comes up with, but I can't do that because I am in a wheelchair. Nice one, Beth. For those of you on the replay, Beth just said to me, I will go. I'm off work. No excuses. Okay. Yeah. And I would actually buy a book or borrow a book or something, one that you can just read at your own pace and challenge yourself to actually read 6 pages a day or, maybe one chapter a day, even. It's just like force yourself to slow down. And by the way, Beth, when you're reading, and Amy, if you're going to do this, when you're reading, don't skip words. Yeah. Really concentrate on reading the words. It's not a case of how fast can you read. It's about teaching your brain to slow down. So, Amy, in terms of being in a wheelchair, totally understand. So I have different suggestion for you if you'd like me to do that. First of all, obviously, reading would be a good thing. Yes, and that actually will also slow you down, Beth, if you do it. Journaling is an excellent way of, because what will happen is you'll get frustrated because you can't write fast enough. And so I would take that, don't see it as a negative, say, I am going to journal because I deserve to slow down. Do you understand? Word it that way. Okay, so not true. The trailer park where Kim and I live, there is an enclosure where I went to go to do my fourth, fifth step. Okay, so there is somewhere where you can relax. That's awesome, and especially whatever is possible, Amy. What the point that we're making here is to make time to slow your thought process down. I did an experiment. Jody will tell you. Yes, yeah, I agree with you, Beth, that not typing your journal is a good idea. Yeah, Amy. So here is the thing that I also wanted to say to both of you. Um, there is so much stuff on YouTube today in terms of meditation, in terms of stuff bringing your wave. If you can imagine it, if I try and imagine what Beth's sine wave, sine wave is how quickly your mind works. I can see Beth's doing this. The idea is to get it to do this, and when you get it to do this, both Amy and Beth, you will make better decisions. You will find that you are in much better health. Um, yes. Amy's saying, I will even fall asleep in the bathtub. Wow. How many of you fall asleep when you start to read? And the reason that happens for a lot of people is because you actually do slow everything down. So if you have trouble going to sleep, it's a really good idea to start reading a book before you go to sleep because the book will help slow your mind down. Okay, so Hot water and a bathtub are your friends, right? So understand that this is about if you cannot make time for yourself, then what use are you to others other than a servant? And I really was impressed, Beth, this when you wrote that thing today, and you actually said, I choose to do this." And I went, "Yay!" She's beginning to understand now that this is her choice. It's not she has to; she is choosing to do all of these things. And and I went, "Yay!" This is not a victim. You can see that you are making these choices. This is not somebody's got a gun to your head that you have to do these things. For some reason, you want to do it to prove what a good person you are. And we want to tell you that what if you didn't have to prove that? Right, Beth. And if I can only give you one gift in this lifetime, it would be that you totally get this. I choose to do this to myself. Right? If I can teach you that in this lifetime, then that will be the greatest gift I could give you. I always say to people, I choose to put food in my mouth. I choose to stay and not go for a walk. Nobody has got me in handcuffs tied to the bed. But I really thank Jody. All right. So, Beth, be careful how you word that, if you don't mind. All right. Although I understand, and I want to just repeat for the viewers what you said here. Beth said, "I'm a good person. I want to stop so bad and enjoy my life." So, you understand, if somebody hears, "I want to stop so bad," they might stop you dead. So, I would suggest you word it differently and you say to yourself, "I am a good person and I deserve to slow my life down as I learn how to relax more." Okay, so Amy's saying, that they actually, when they retired, they thought they were going to um, just take a break for a year, and they've been living that break for 7 years. Wow, it's called a lifestyle change. Beth, that's very kind of you to say that. But do you understand why I changed the wording? Just for the people listening on the replay, Beth just said, "You're so good with words, Sal." Do you understand why I changed the wording for you? Because if you keep repeating, "I want to stop dead," or I just want to stop, I'm scared that I'm really scared that you could be creating that, and I don't want that for you. I would far rather that I am learning to relax, is what you say, and then just take a deep breath, and then just let it out slowly. Whenever you feel yourself being hyper, you don't have to believe that I'm worth more than the stuff you do, Beth. You can hear, "I have to believe." No, you don't have to believe. You may choose to believe that you're worth more. And when you choose to know that for sure, you will do something differently. Not because you have to. I am certain everybody around you hopes that you continue to be the slave that you have become. And that's what I hear. And forgive me for using those words, but I hear, you're busy doing this for this person, you're doing that for that. Yes, you can do it. Beth, Beth, I hope you're laughing. This is so hard, she says. No, Beth. It's actually remarkably easy once you get a grip on it. And you've been doing so well. And I'm not trying to make you change. I'm asking you, would you like to slow down a bit? And if so, yeah, I'm glad you're laughing. I am. I agree with Jody. Sometimes I read some of the stuff you're up to and I'm going, and I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm getting tired just reading what you're doing. But Beth, you understand, I used to be that person. I really was. And that's why, yeah, I know. Well, it's what you have made normal. But I don't think having high blood pressure is normal. I think that's a little more than normal. So I can just see you doing your cleaning job. I bet you are through there like a dose of salt. You know exactly what order to do things in and how quickly to get it done, and boom, I'm out of the door. And that is great. That's called aerobic exercise. And then slow down. Not everything is against the clock. Right? See those moments as exercise. And then the rest of your life, just let it slow down a bit. Hmm. He's trying to save your life, Beth. That's his job. He's sworn an oath to protect you. And he gets mad at himself because he cannot convince you. That's why it sounds like he's getting mad at you. Because he's frustrated. He knows that you're running a risk here. And he wants to make sure that you don't give yourself a heart attack. So maybe going there and saying, let's go for a win-win here. How about I listen for a while and let you give me what you think I need in terms of medication? And by the way, these are the changes I'm starting to make in my life. I can see that what I've been doing is a little dangerous. And watch how he changes. You see, I've always said to people, it doesn't really matter what you're suffering from. The pills alone are not going to fix it most times. We have to fix ourselves at the same time. So I do need to go in a little while, and I just wanted to thank Beth for her honesty on this one, and also Amy, doing great work, Amy. And I think this whole thing about let's just walk one step at a time, right? I could do with definitely a bit of help getting stuff downstairs. Amy, I can feel your heart. You know something? When I say I can feel your heart, um, you're a very aware person. And I have a feeling that when you were doing that soul work, you were much happier. Am I right in that? Because I believe anybody who does, yeah, it does take a lot of hard work. I agree. So if we could give you one gift, Amy, what is it you would wish for? What is it in your life that you would would like to bring into your life at the moment? We know for Beth it is how to slow down, learning how to relax, in a healthy way. And what would it be for you, Amy? Amy, I think you'll find the one common denominator of people that are part of this channel, are people who understand being stomped on, and that I think it's one thing that a lot of the viewers have in common. You bet, Amy. Doesn't have to be the perfect answer, honey. But you understand, I've got a pretty good sense of where Beth's trying to go and what's happening for her, because of the time that I've spent talking to her. So I just want to make sure that that we help support you at the same way. And again, as usual, I'd like to thank Jody for being there and being admin for us today. Thanks, Jody. I really, really do appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to having Lauren join us again on the broadcast. As some of you may know, that she's actually all the way down in Tasmania. And before I go, the other thing please let us continue our thoughts and prayers for those um, children stuck in that cave and their coach and the rescuers. And may a miracle happen and they all get out safely. With tears in my eyes, I understand the likelihood of a perfect ending is probably no, it's possible. Let's put it that way. It is possible, and I pray to God that that's the miracle that happens. Amy, I actually don't think you're a crazy chick. You see, that's the whole thing. I don't think Beth is either. I really don't. I think you go ahead and just do it, Beth. If you start getting consumed by that, Beth, you get back to me, all right? I have some recommendations. Okay. uh, all right. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. Nobody has asked me what I'm doing for dinner, so I gather that that's okay. Or maybe we were just not in that zone today. For those of you who are now going, yeah, what are you doing for dinner? I'm doing roast, actually doing leftover roast turkey with mashed potatoes and stuff and gravy. A comfort food tonight. All right, everybody, big hugs to you all. And remember, the reason we do Soul Sunday is to slow down a bit, ready for the new week. I'm hoping, as somebody said, that just listening to the broadcast helps slow you down a little bit. And Beth, you are worthy of this. You have the right to relax. You are worth so much more relaxed than you are hyper. And just start practicing a couple of times a day, and you'll be amazed how quickly you can just do it for yourself. That was a very long 2 minutes of breathing in and breathing out. But if you could do that 3 times a day, that alone will make a difference. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And know that you can always write to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com if you've got a particular problem that is worrying you. I will do my best to get back to everybody as soon as I possibly can. And in the meantime, remember to look after one another. But please, 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 above all else, start by looking after yourself. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you so much for being here, and bye-bye for now.